Hello Embers, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to start a couple videos on crochet patterns, their nomenclature, and how to decipher them. So the first thing is that a crochet pattern is just groupings of basic stitches. So I have a bunch of videos on those if you want to go check some of those out. So none of this, a pattern really isn't daunting once you realize that. So the first thing you want to do is figure out a pattern you want to make. That is the most important step. You don't want to be just picking a pattern willy-nilly because sometimes patterns aren't always easy. So I'm holding up a pattern here. It's on the back of the label of a yarn. Some patterns will have a skill level. So this particular one, which is a hat, is an intermediate pattern. So a beginner probably doesn't want to go right to an intermediate project. They want to start on something easier. So most patterns have between 5 and 6 different sections. So you'll have an about section, a material section, gauge, intention, abbreviations, any special notes, and then the pattern. So on the about, this section will talk about the project. This will also cover any terms that are used, specifically whether or not it's a UK or US pattern. So if we're looking at a UK pattern, when they say single crochet, they mean double crochet. So US, you just have single, double, triple. UK is like their single is equivalent to a US double. So if we take a look at this pattern, which is on the back of the label, this says, hat directions are written for a child's medium with changes for a size large and women's in parenthesis. Your finished hat size is going to be about 20 inches in circumference. That's this section right there. And we're back. For all intents and purposes, when I am making videos, I am always going to be talking about US terms. So this one is in US terms. It does not have any differences. And I do believe that Red Heart will have different flags for different patterns. Either that or that means it's made in America. I'm not really 100% sure. Let's go on. And then we have the materials section. So in this section, it'll tell you how or what you need, how many you need, and whether or not you have anything special that you need. So in this case, for this pattern, which is this hat, the material section on this says you need 1 skein of Red Heart Super Saver yarn in 301 Rouge, which is a red hat. Their preferred hook is by the Susan Bates Company. If you're making a medium hat, you want a US H or 8 hook or a US J 10 for a large hat. This is right here. So, can you focus? So we have the yarn right here. and then the hook preferences. You don't have to use the brands that are recommended. Because I have a whole bunch of different hooks that I use. I use a lot of Boyer products because that's just what has been passed down to me. A lot of my materials are hand-me-downs. So we have an H8, which looks like this. Then here on this, you see it says H8, and it says it's a 5mm hook, which is consistent with what is written here. Now they do both because the H8 hook is an American thing. Millimeters are obviously the UK equivalent. And then it needs a J hook. Okay. And this one is a J hook. It's very hard to read. This is a hand-me-down. So two different kinds of hooks that you could use to make two different sizes of hat. And then when you're looking at yarn, you kind of want to follow the directions on the yarn. This particular brand, Red Heart, does give you the weight of the yarn, the preferred, like the average gauge when you crochet and knit, and then some care instructions. The labels also will tell you what the color is, and then if you look down here, it says no dye lot. So if you're buying Red Hearts, you don't have to worry about weird variations in your yarn, but you always want to double check. Because if you have a yarn with a dye lot and say you need like 4 or 5 skeins of yarn, there is a hair on my nose. There we go. You want to make sure they're from the same dye lot to prevent weird unintentional variations. Patterns are about uniformity, so uniform color is important. And that is where I am going to end this week's video. This is a lot of information to take in. I know I'm not exactly completely coherent, but I'm trying. I also have several pages of notes, as you can see. So all of this will be in a Google document that I will link in the description for this first video. And then as each video comes out, I will add a new document specifically for that video. And then I can also offer a document that's all videos together. So you just want to keep an eye out in that description box down below if you want to read along with what I'm doing, or if it's easier for you to read, not watch a video. You can find me on Facebook and Instagram at Forged by Blackfire. You can like and subscribe to this channel. You can share my videos, leave me comments. I do respond. This actually was a video that was requested from one of you guys. So if you would like to see more requests or have any other questions, you can always contact me. Otherwise, I will see you next week for part 2, where we discuss gauge and tension. All right, you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.